Hi. I didn't expect to be making this video. I was wanting to make a video and I managed to just distract myself with things and getting on with stuff. And I've just had some, to me it's disturbing news. And I guess what I'm going to do is try and talk through it on camera now, so I can be clearer in myself and appease the emotions inside of me to gain a perspective. So I just spoke to my care coordinator. She's like a social worker in the community who's there to help me. And she's in contact with the council in terms of the antisocial behaviour order and the looking for eviction. And apparently, and hello to you if you're watching, a neighbour of mine has wanted to track me down online, and they found my Facebook account or YouTube account of these live streams, and I don't know what you want. Why do you feel you need to impeach on my personal life? What do you hope to find? Is it you just wish to know you're safe as a neighbour to me, someone that looks like this and so scary and can scream so loudly? If it's for that reason, then I understand, but you have to listen to the videos and to see that I'm harmless, to see that I've got the pressures of the world on my shoulders, and yet I do nothing but make a little bit of noise as the sum total of my condition and the sum total of the pressures of life. But obviously this person who has wanted to track me down, and the most sincere way that I can think that this individual could do that in terms of not wanting to aggravate me in any way, not wanting to harm me in any way, is to know that they're safe because I look scary and I sound scary, and that's understandable. But obviously they're not really listening to anything that's being said, because they're making complaints to the council that I'm stating. Apparently this is what my care coordinator has just said, that I'm stating on camera about wanting to cut my throat or something. Now that is a very serious statement to somebody in my predicament and could get me in a lot of trouble. At no point have I ever implied that I want to cut my throat, not even close. I'm not stupid. I've spent a lot of time and energy dealing with suicide. I've spent a lot of time and energy dealing with elements of self-harm. And these are normal aspects for a lot of people in society. So if you're so lucky that you have managed to avoid these circumstances, then good for you. I wouldn't want anybody to experience them. But don't think you're going to help someone who's had these traits by putting more pressure on them, by lying to the council. I've had to work extremely hard to deal with these elements. The pressures that I've had on me, the habitual patterning that I've had to break is unbelievable. At no point have I ever been rude to any of my neighbours. But yet I've had complaints to the council that I've been directly rude to people and directly, is it abusive? These are the complaints I've had. I'm a mentally ill person. I'm a person with a mental illness, and that's it. A lot of people have mental illnesses out there. I am vulnerable. So it's like all of these stresses that I've got from the council, from antisocial behaviour. My neighbours don't deserve to live next to me. The situation was aggravated last year as a result of the NHS not treating me and still not treating me in an appropriate way. And I've got to deal with that in the long term. It's taken me a year to accept the traumatic events. And I have to be proactive. That's what I've realised. The situation's just got too absurd. From me, as a mentally ill person, it's just got ridiculous. Me seeking help from the NHS, the help that I need, because I have a mental health disorder, and I have to acknowledge that. And that is sanity. That is me being as sane as I can be. And ultimately, it's taken till now. I've heard the council, the antisocial behaviour department, they've made it clear that the complaints have been coming in, and I'm seeking alternative accommodation. I don't wish to outstay my welcome ever. I don't wish to put anything on any other people from my life, and I appreciate that that's happened. And I've been willing to do that to a certain extent because I, as a citizen of the UK, haven't received the help that I've needed from the NHS at times when I've needed it, stating in clear sanity, my circumstance, my needs, my requirements. And it goes beyond stigma. It's not stigma at all. I know the individuals have heard me clearly state what is going on for me, what my needs are. They can see when someone is suffering, when someone's in pain, and they have been unwilling to help. And because of this confusion, because of this massive stupidity that I'm experiencing as a result of the system, and I have a mental health disorder that's been aggravated by my physical health, and my physical health, when I try to get help for it, isn't being assisted. And I'm like, what the fuck am I meant to do? What am I meant to do? So my mental health gets aggravated, but it's not my mental health that's the problem. It's my physical health. And my physical health as a result of society and the system that has just been absolutely absurd towards me. So I'm sorry, neighbour. I don't mean any harm from you. I have a mental health disorder, and in all likelihood, I would make noise every so often. I don't know, once every few weeks I'd have a bad day, and that would be the likelihood of my condition. And it would be annoying to live next to me, but you would be able to raise your understanding and your awareness to realise, hopefully, he's got a mental health disorder. I've lived next to him now for 2 years, and he's been no harm to anybody. He's not been rude to anybody. The stuff that comes out of his mouth is absolutely obscene. but he keeps himself to himself. I can forgive him for that. I have to take on a bit of that annoyance because of this society that we live in, whereby these block flats, one on top of each other, crammed next to each other, poorly insulated and poorly designated for an individual that just has a problem shouting, is the sum total of circumstance. And I'll complain about him if I really need to once every so often, but I'm sure that would be an accurate reflection of somebody with a mental health disorder and my mental health disorder. But due to COVID probably, and due to something beyond that, because people haven't been listening to me when I've been telling them in simplicity what's been going on for me. I've got no reason to hide, man. I've got no reason to make up I'm in physical pain. But the situation has got mad, absolutely mad. I didn't stop shouting last year. I was in pain non-stop and I shouted non-stop. And my neighbours suffered. And it's taken me to now to realise the NHS aren't going to change their attitude towards me. I don't know what has happened to the NHS towards me. So for that reason, I've accepted it. Right, well, this is the situation. I'm not going to stay here and bother my neighbours anymore. My neighbours are putting in active complaints about me. The NHS aren't going to change. It's time for me to move. That's my thinking. That's how I think. This is what the madness of last year was down to. If you wanted an explanation from me, that's the explanation. I've said it very calmly. And I'd appreciate it if you could stop following me on my personal accounts. If you have no intention for your own care in terms of your own safety, which if you really listen to any of the videos up until now, you would have an absolute clarity that, oh, he's harmless. This guy is absolutely harmless. He looks scary, he sounds scary, and he complains a lot, but he's harmless. If you'd actually wanted to listen. And otherwise, please stop following me. You have no right. You're there for the wrong intentions. If you're hearing what I'm saying is wrong, you're there for the wrong intentions. And that's about as clear as I can get in addressing the emotional instability that's created within myself of having to deal with a threat. Because it's a threat. When someone makes a threat about someone who's had a previous with these elements, I risk face being sectioned. I risk face being put on medication. I risk all of these things and my life being taken out of my own hands, my own control for reasons that a neighbour doesn't listen when they are there supposedly to listen and find out. And I will reiterate, I am sorry for causing you distress. I'm sorry for the language that comes out of my mouth. None of it is intentional. None of it I wish. It's the sum total of the circumstance that is my life. And I'm just trying my best. And I will reiterate, I have purchased a less than favourable solution to me moving. And all I'm hoping is that the council can give me a little bit more time than would otherwise possibly be granted if they evict me. so that I could phase myself out, so I could transition, because I'm autistic at the same time, and that is very appreciated when I have those elements there. I have lived in squalor before, and I'm facing the possibility of that again, and all the help, all the kind-heartedness of people I can receive at this time when I'm just trying to do my best for others, is very much appreciated. If you could kindly call the council, listen back over the video and hear in truth what I was saying and not what you wanted to hear, and then call the council back and say to them, I apologise. He didn't mean that. I've heard it again. He didn't mean that. I don't wish to cause the gentleman any more problem. He's trying to get himself out of there for me, to find himself in a slightly better situation given his circumstances. But he needs assistance from us not hassling him, so he can be focused enough to pull it together. I want to acknowledge my fault there. And if you can do that and be a big person, an honest person, this situation can come out best for all of us. Because as I said, I'm trying to move. You just have to let me move. And I think addressing you like this has helped me clear the emotions, and I can just focus back on me moving and getting on with it. I do still make noise. I have a mental health disorder. The system doesn't... I don't have any reassurances from the system as much as I get some elements of help from them. My life isn't a way that I wish to live, due to the system and the circumstance I find myself in. I am able to manage my condition up until the point of making noise. And then I haven't got a solution for it. But as I said, I'm looking at a solution that is a little bit more it would impact individuals less. That's if you can imagine me moving to a place whereby I would bother the same individuals the same way I've bothered you, that's what I'm trying for. And I will have to deal with police, I will have to deal with ambulance services knocking at my door, and that will go hand in hand with my condition. But there's not much more to say. If you have any more questions, what I suggest is put a letter through my door. When I have time, I will write a response and I will post it back. I'm no harm to myself, I'm no harm to any other individual. I'm actually quite open and quite down to earth if you communicate with me in the right way. So if you really do have any more questions, that's the best way forward.